Yeah, like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm not ruling it out. I'm still hopeful. I am still really hopeful that we can get a deal done between now and the transfer window. But it just feels like we're cutting it really fine. You know, as I said, I'd love to hear something this evening, maybe tomorrow, about these potential deals. That would be amazing. Would be fantastic. But at this moment in time, it's hard not to be a little bit concerned. Just a little bit concerned. I'm not at complete panic stations just yet, but I am nervous, and I'm nervous because I feel like this would be such a massive missed opportunity if Arsenal were to miss out on bringing in a top class midfielder for the sake of £5-10 million difference in.
Hello everyone, delighted to have you company here on 2K Sports for our PGA Tour action. Today's coverage of the Northwest Open is about to start. Please, you can join us for this first round action. I'm Luke Elvey, alongside PGA champion Rich Beam. We're in the booth and down on the course, it's John McCarthy.
If you trust Mikel Arteta that much, if you trust Edu and him to do a good job, if you trust them to deliver Champions League football back, then you will get a return on the best investment.
Par 5,
So,
651 yards from
make
the
it
tip.
happen.
Talk about a three-shotter.
Keep saying, time is running out. Afsar Gunners believe there's no chance of Thomas Partey coming in. There's Arsenal fans, let's be clear, Arsenal fans, Partey fact. I do feel like...
Come on, bounce.
I do feel like the Partey one has been unlikely all week now.
That's a little
And
untidy.
with each day that passes, the
This shot
chances of him
from
coming
the
to the end
first
of
cut
the
of
day
rough.
just diminish that little bit further. So yeah, I do think we're gonna miss out on Partey, but still got a bit of hope around Houssem Aouar. Right, brings us towards the end of today's live transfer update stream.
Smart shot, always back into the fairway, it's a safe play.
Smash the like
And
button if
here
you
we are
haven't
with the
already. Go
third
check in
shot.
on the likes. Whilst I remember, let's see. There's over 400 of you watching us at the moment across the multiple platforms. We've only got 81 likes, guys. Come on.
Not sure if
in 3,
that's what they were intending
2,
to do.
1. Hit the like button, please. It's so important. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already as well. Get your comments in the live chat and let us know. Let's go through a couple more bits actually before
Oh, beauty!
I remind you guys that this
Woo!
podcast is sponsored by Manscaped.com. If you want your nether regions to look as neat and as tidy as the end of the stadium pitch, head over to Manscaped.com, enter our discount code which is Chronicles AFC in capitals, and receive 20% off.
Get in
plus
there!
Free shipping.
Currently 1
Here
under
it
for the
is, the
tournament.
Manscaped
I
Lawnmower
can't ever
3.0.
recall him making a
Isn't
birdie
that
and
awesome?
feeling bad about it. So yes,
Fantastic
birdie on the
stuff.
first,
Really good.
great
Really,
job.
really good. You don't have to just use it.
Here we are at the
on the
second
board,
tee.
use it on anything.
Nice birdie in the last
it also
hole
comes
for a
with a load
change.
of other
First
cool
one of the
products,
day.
which
They
you can see in
needed
the
it
box here.
desperately. Now,
So
next
yeah,
hole,
check
looking
out
for more.
Manscaped.com. This is the Lawnmower
was
3.0.
pummeled.
Nice and compact.
Right
Does
drive.
the job. Fantastic. Great stuff. Let's go back into the live chat. Big shout out to Andreas in Cyprus. He says the Partey deal looks very
And
difficult.
this shot
It
from
does.
about
It's
150
literally
yards.
pay the money or we're not getting him. It's that simple. Atletico don't want to sell. Atletico don't have to sell unless that release
And
clause is
choosing the
met, and
8
they
iron
have
here.
no choice whatsoever
Might be
but
one
to
colour
allow
too
Arsenal
many.
to negotiate with the player. So that's where we're at the moment.
That's
in
an
terms of
absolute
the
ripper.
transfer
What a
updates,
shot.
I wish I could have been
This
doing
one
this
here,
stream and
this is
bringing
for
you more
back-to-back
positive
birdies,
news, but at
moving
this
him in the
moment
right
time,
direction.
at the time of this being stream live, there is still nothing. Now, if I hear something, or if we
What the
all hear
hell?
something, I will try my best to jump on and do another stream
Oh my
Coming up
god!
here.
to react to that over the course of
And
the
down it
weekend.
goes.
For those of you that are based in the United States or North America, you can catch me on
Let's go and
iHeartRadio
head
for
back down to the
VSIN,
fairways, John.
bringing you
What's up,
live
mate?
commentary of Leeds United versus Manchester City in the
Getting ready to
Premier
play
League
there, sir.
Saturday UK time,
What a
5:30
shot!
PM.
Almost right in the bucket.
I'm not sure what time that is Eastern, but check it out, VSIN
And
on
after that effort, this is how
iHeartRadio.
the field is
So
shaping
really
up.
looking forward to that. Really proud to be commentating on games and having my voice sort of for
We have
America.
a
It's
par
amazing.
four
I've
on
gone
this
from
one.
commentating on my Pro Evo games when I was a kid to that. So really delighted with that, and I'd appreciate your support. If you are going to tune into the game, come and join us on iHeartRadio VSIN, the sports betting network based in Las Vegas. So yeah, looking forward to doing that this weekend, and hopefully looking forward to some
Second shot
news.
here on the third.
Let's see what happens. Fingers crossed. I know you're all going to be glued to Twitter in the next 24 hours or so. I am as well. Really hard to switch off from it, but
Opting for the hybrid, I
a
think.
couple of days left in this
Down.
transfer.
Just a fraction to the
Down, down.
to the window rather than a disappointing one. Until
Ah,
next time,
stop.
take care of yourselves. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you again if something happens, if something kicks off. Great stuff. Cheers.
Let's see if we can make this big putt for birdie.
What the hell? Jesus.
Ahí va a llegar el gol del Arsenal, Ozil. Marca Mesut Ozil.
Gee.
This would be a good one to make. It's for par.
Hello and welcome to Arscast Extra, as always, with James from Gunner Blog. James, good morning to you.
Good morning to
Currently
you
one
too.
under
How you doing?
for the day.
I am all right. This is an extra Arscast Extra. We're going to try and fly through this in about an hour
It is
because
yours.
we've got busy days ahead of us, both of us, but we want to address, of course, the magnificent penalty shootout win last night in the Carabao Cup. Arsenal beating Liverpool. It was one of those weird games, James, where I was looking at it going, I want to win. I always want to win, but I don't really care if we lose. And then you get to a
Left
penalty
nothing in the
shootout.
tank
and
on
you're like,
that one. That was
do
humble.
that. Do it. Don't let them do it. And especially when James Milner, did his thing after scoring the
Stop.
first penalty.
What was that about?
Jeez.
Who was that to? Do we know?
I don't know. I mean, maybe
Playing this
Bruno.
shot from 120 yards. Only two shots
Sorry, there
off
was
the pace.
literally a magpie outside my window.
Oh shit.
Fucking Mourinho. Anyway.
That was terrifying.
But maybe Bernd Leno? I mean, he was the only one who could possibly have been having a bit of mouth. He doesn't strike me as the type to go in for that kind of thing, does he, Leno?
No,
He's
was
quite
wonderfully done.
robot man.
Yeah, he's a bit dry. You're going to miss, and I will laugh.
Sadly,
Yeah.
hasn't made a
I
putt all
I am
day.
always the number
Hopefully
one,
that can
and
change
I
here.
will always be the number one. I thought, I mean, he was obviously, one of the big stars of the evening. Maybe Arsenal's best player on the
Yeah, sure. I like this from Gagan J on the Discord. He said, "What is it about Liverpool captains raising their index fingers that angers the gods so much?"
Well done.
And,
Take the ball.
it never works out.
And that will take him to
There you
shot
go.
under.
Exactly. So look, it was
Let's head over
I
to the
suppose an
15th hole,
interesting
shall we?
game. There were a couple of aspects that were interesting about it, which we'll get into. Team selection, Bernd Leno starting. I sort of thought that maybe Alex Runason might
This
get a
would be a
start.
great
I
up
think
and
I kind
down.
of spoke afterwards about how he arrived late and has had a bit of an issue, so that's why Leno is in goal. Good thing
my
too, I would
God.
say,
Nice little
considering
pitch
how
shot,
busy he was.
wonderful
I
touch.
enjoyed your
Gets it
tweet
to go.
about the
Mark
save
me
that Leno
down
made from
for
the
a
header.
three. Thank you.
Our
Where he
current
sort of
leader is
pushed it
enjoying
away
a
and
one-shot
parried it
lead.
across goal, and
So with another hole
you
behind
asked,
us, let's take a look at the
could he have caught
leader.
it, or was that good, or was it bad?
Still went, yeah.
Yeah, Minamino, I
Maybe
think hit
feeling
the
buoyed with
crossbar
confidence
afterwards.
after that birdie.
I enjoyed
It's a
the
good chance to
complete
make
lack of
tackle
clarity
moment.
that the replies
It was quite
provided.
amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like I said, I think he could have pushed that sort of away from goal. Is that harsh? And I think if it had been a poll, it would have been about 50-50. The Emmy camp and the Leno camp seem quite firmly established on social media.
I mean,
What a
is
man
that
line
something
this
now
one.
that we have to put to bed? I kind of feel like it is.
Yeah, I
You know?
think that's fair. I mean, it's inevitable, isn't it, that you're going to do that? But
Well,
it's
this
sort of
shot
unfair
from
to
about
compare him to
170
Martins, I
yards.
think, who
Just
had
a
such
stroke
a
behind
brief
the leader.
run in the team and such a successful run in the team. It's kind of such a pristine memory that anything
Going with the
that
six
happens to
iron
that,
here.
I think is going to be tough on Bernd.
It's kind of like, when a rock star dies young,
Yeah.
and they don't go on to make all the really
Good
shit
shot
albums that they
there.
make in their
Right inside the
40s and
range.
50s, and they
Already
just
had
have
a
this
few
incredible
birdies
body
today.
of work
Another
that they
opportunity
produced
for
in their
another one.
20s
Let's
at
take a
the
look.
peak of their creativity. You know, it
I
is.
said exactly that in my video.
Oh, really?
It's like,
I haven't watched it, sorry.
It's like when someone dies really young, and it's sort of like, you know, they're
Get in!
yeah, pristine, perfect.
Yes!
You know, memorial.
Claim it.
forever.
Back-to-back birdies.
Brilliant putt.
And with
In our
that,
hearts,
we'll move
you know.
to 3
Yeah.
under par.
And every little thing
That
that,
makes
we
him
see
tied for
Leno
first.
do wrong, just because he's played a lot more games, he'll be judged more harshly accordingly. Look, we
We have a
whatever way
par
you
3 on
slice
this
it,
one.
Leno has been excellent since he arrived at Arsenal for the most part, and we have a very, very good goalkeeper.
Yeah,
And we were very grateful to him yesterday.
for sure. I
Going
mean,
with
if
the
we
hybrid.
are going to carry on
This
with
one's
this,
going
does
right
that
to the
mean
pin
we
here.
all have to watch every Aston Villa game? And
Are you
then
not doing that and sort of weeping through your hands as you do it?
it's just
Oh,
like
that's
just
shot that.
just watch every Aston Villa game. Well, Burnley,
Well,
Leno could have done
putt to
better.
make.
You know, he would have done better with
Birdie
that one.
always
You know, the
nice,
two
but
camps
particularly
watching.
when it's a
Look
two.
at what Emmy,
Well, yeah,
look
yeah.
at what Burn has done.
Someone had clicked up
Come
Emily
on.
Martinez.
Looking really
when he
good,
dropped
this
the
one.
ball.
Yes!
I think
Oh, that's a lefty
the goal was
putt.
actually ruled offside.
Yeah.
He
And
basically
that will
went
take him
straight
to
out to
4
the
under.
goal. So, you know, everyone's coming to this argument armed.
Well, there's action and plenty all over the
Leno,
course.
I think we have to
Let's have a look at
assess
this
him on his
highlight from
own
another player.
attributes, which is that
And
he's
this
a really
effort
good
by
goalkeeper.
Gary Woodland
It doesn't
was
mean
just
there
a little
aren't
while
things
ago.
that he could do better. But he had a fantastic game at Anfield.
The other thing as well, and I said this on the blog today, is that the decision to let Emmy Martinez go, and we can't tell us afterwards again, you know, we
It's a
didn't
beauty.
want him to go,
Right
but
out of the top
you know,
draw.
circumstances
Nice
were
play.
what they were. But that decision was made not just on what Emmy Martinez did after
And
the
after that
lockdown,
hole,
which was great.
this is how the
You know,
leaderboard
he's
looks
been at
right
Arsenal
now.
for 11 years, 10, 11 years. They've seen this guy arrive as a kid, grow up, become a very good
And now
goalkeeper.
teeing off on this
You know, they
par
have
4 hole.
intimate knowledge, and I mean that in the purest possible way. They know everything about him, what he does on the pitch, what he does on the training ground, how he lives his life, all of those kind
well
of things.
struck.
Mikel
This
Arteta
drive's
is a
hitting for the
former
fairway
teammate
lies.
of Emmy Martinez, so they didn't make the decision to let him go simply based on what he did
Fuck's
after
sake.
lockdown, which was
Look,
great.
Unfortunately,
They did it
that
with the
got a
full knowledge
horrible
of
kick
everything
ended
that
up in the
led
rough.
up to that, the circumstances,
Sitting
the fact
at
that perhaps
4
there are
under
no
for the
fans
day.
in the ground, and also
Currently
the fact that
tied
Aston
for top
Villa
spot.
offered us a shitload of money for a player who a few months previously would not have got anywhere near that kind of value. So, you know, I think we have to look at it through
Yeah, good swing.
that context
This
and
one's heading up onto the green for
try
sure.
and find the wider
Oh,
context
lovely
of why
shot.
that decision was made.
Lovely shot.
And as Leno, I thought the interview afterwards
Right through
last
into
night
the
was quite
7th.
funny,
And a
wasn't it?
chance for Villa.
Where just as you said, I
Just
was
a full
number
quarter
one,
remaining.
I'll always be number one. You know, he there was no like, look, Emmy did great, and you know it was,
Mark it down, that's birdie number
fantastic
5.
to see Emmy do
And
so
with
well.
that,
It was like,
we'll
no,
move
I'm
to
number
5
one, I've
under.
always been number one, and now it's up to me to
The
prove it.
leader
He
now
didn't,
has a
you know,
1
suggest
stroke
that
advantage.
he's going to sit on
The
his
play
laurels.
so
He
far has
literally
been
said, my
stellar,
job is to prove
increasing
that
the
every
lead.
week, and he did that last
But
night.
can they maintain it?
Absolutely.
Find out.
Yeah, and I think.
Here we find ourselves on the tee of par 4. Well, let's see if they can roll off that birdie in the last. Lovely momentum here.
I think people will definitely make their peace with that if it happens.
If it happens, we have to do that whole strengthening the squad thing first, though, before we can have that soften the blow a little bit for the people who loved Emmy. And like, you know, it's no slight on Emmy Martinez or anything like it. But
Just quick thing. I
Yeah.
mean, are you worried that maybe
Nicely done.
Runar Runarsson isn't
This
great
effort by
and
Justin
might be part
Thomas.
of the selection, or do you buy what Mikel suggested?
I suppose you have to take it a bit on face value. You know, he
And
hadn't
here we
played,
are with the third shot.
you know, like anyone else in France, hadn't played since March. So chances are he was
Oh, that one just
maybe
missed
a
the
bit
hole.
less sharp than he needed to be. And I think if you are a second choice goalkeeper,
And back
if
to the
you
course with
are
the
moving
live
to a
action.
club where, with all due
That's
respect to
great momentum.
Dijon, the
4
standards
birdies on
are
the trot.
higher and the expectations are higher and the pressure is higher. Maybe you do need more than 2 weeks of training when
Dang.
you're being brought in towards the end of a transfer window to get yourself ready. So I will take it on face value from Mikel Arteta. I can't make any
Well
judgment on him as a player
Good
because
chance to
I've
move to
literally
6
never
under
seen him
par
play. And until such time as we do, or until such time as I do, and see him pull on an Arsenal shirt and perform, I'm not going to sit here and make any judgments on him as a player. But I do think it's pretty clear that there's a very established number one and a very established number two at Arsenal right
Come
now.
on! Yes!
Much the same way as there was
Woo!
before lockdown.
And that will take him.
Gorgeous putt.
To where we
That's
were.
true.
That
That's
shot's so
true,
good.
except
We
I
need
think
to have
maybe
another look.
the golf is even bigger.
Let's see that one
I'm
again.
not even sure that Ronaldo is guaranteed to play the cup games, the Europa League games, for example.
No.
I mean, I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me if when the
Beauty.
Europa League around playing
Beautiful.
these games. I've got absolutely no problem
Now
with
2
that.
shots up after that one.
What about the rest of the team selection? We had Granit Xhaka captaining the side. There's a thing. When you consider what happened basically a year ago.
We
Yeah.
are at the final hole on the
I
front
mean, I think that the selection was particularly strong in the middle of the park. I mean, it was Xhaka and Ceballos, wasn't it? Which I think A tells you that Arteta probably wanted to put out a competitive side in this game, but B tells you it's pretty short of options. I mean, if you're not going to select Lucas Torreira, who seems to be headed out, or Matteo Guendouzi for different reasons, you've basically got Xhaka, Ceballos and Nene as your central midfield options. I mean, you've got Joe Willock who can play there, but he seems more comfortable
Oh, this
in
is a
advanced
long way
areas
from
at times.
downtown, but you're closer. John,
But Maitland-Niles,
what's he got
who
in front
don't
of him?
seem to want to play there.
Well, he's looking at.
Well, I mean, can we
25
put that
foot
to bed?
putt
Can we
from
put the
my
idea of Ainsley Maitland-Niles as a central midfielder to bed? Because it's one of those things that goes around, and I don't really understand why. Because what has he played there for?
Get in.
Twice?
Well, I
So,
like the look.
Yes!
The entire time
That putt will
at
drop,
Arsenal,
and he'll
his
extend his
career has
lead.
been playing as a
And that will
left
take
back
him
or a
to
wing
7
back
under.
or a right back or a right wing
And
back.
let's have another look at that one.
Occasionally in the front three.
Yeah, go ahead. Look at that one again.
Emery. But he's never been played as a central midfielder. Maybe he's somebody who could do a job there, but I don't know that he's someone we should be talking about as an option because we're talking about
Leading by 3
David
strokes
Luiz as an
now.
option for central midfield when he's not, even though he has played there.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'd say to that is that, funnily enough, in this kind
2
of
great
left wing
shots are
back
required
role,
here.
he
because
kind of
this
ends
hole
up
is a
operating in
long
that
par for.
space more than he ever has.
Yeah.
He kind of becomes the auxiliary central midfielder, and it was Bukayo Saka who was doing that job ostensibly yesterday. But I thought it was interesting. He played it a lot more narrow, right? He felt like he was more part of the midfield yesterday.
Right. Well, yeah, I was looking at the formation when the game started, and it looked
that's a
very
high
much
caliber
like
shot.
a back four,
Taking
more
aim
like
from
a back
about
four
170
than
yards.
the back three. Particularly when you looked at where Saka was taking up positions early on, he was very, very central, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He
That's
doesn't.
quite advanced stuff.
Yeah, and
This
he
one
doesn't.
is
I don't
chewing
mean Saka
fiber.
here, I mean Arteta. He doesn't really.
Get in!
Kind
Oh!
of what he's thinking in terms
Close.
of formation.
Well,
when
that's
he-
well
when he's
played.
asked
It
about
sets
it.
up a
He's
good
press
movement.
conference
Here at
yesterday.
the
I
tip.
didn't see the press conference, no, so I've read
Let's
it.
take a
but
look
you
at
can,
Gary Woodburn from
give me
earlier.
your thoughts on this.
So yeah,
This
James
is how you do it,
Page,
7 days a week.
of Football.London asked him a great question. What
And
formation
down
were you
drops.
playing tonight?
What a shot that was.
Which I think probably needs to be answered more often because it is a fascinating question, and he completely batted it away.
Okay,
at us.
let's
He
get back
kind
to
of
the action.
laughed and said, well,
Chance to move
we
to
make
8 over
little
here.
changes
Their
game
short
by
game
game
today
to the
has been
system
absolutely
to see how we
sublime
can,
fun to watch.
make ourselves stronger against an opponent. But he basically wouldn't answer it, and I think that's because he knows he's got a relatively
This one's
good
dialed
thing
in.
going
What a
with this kind of
performance.
system
8
that he
birdies
makes
on the
little
card. And that will take him to
gets under
8
the hood
under.
of it, makes little tweaks to, and
Now
the
leader
biggest
is up
tweaks
by
often
4
I
shots
think
now.
come around that kind of left wing back position, which either can be a third central midfield player,
We've reached
or
the
can
11th
be
hole,
more of a
and the
left
tee
back,
is
or can
yours.
operate,
Good birdie on the
overlapping.
last.
There's all sorts
What's
of things
in
he can get to
store
do, and I agree
now?
with you that more than ever yesterday, or more than for some time, it felt like we were playing with a back four shape.
That
and
one's
Saka
right
was
out of the
part
top
that midfield
drawer.
three.
Yeah.
And he said specifically, Arteta, we worked on some stuff
Beauty.
based on Monday night. They saw
Yeah.
things on Monday that they were able to exploit. And
Perfect.
it was
Playing
perfect.
from
I
around
mean,
210
interesting as well
yards
that he
here.
put Pepe on that flank.
Yes. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. What did you make of his performance? Because I looked
Looks
at him.
to be going with the hybrid here.
Was looking at a player who I don't know. He feels like a player who's short of confidence, and it's very easy to understand
stop.
why that might be the case because he's not playing
Ah,
regularly
fucking
as he did
ridiculous.
last season. He finished the season strongly, but has lost his place. And we had this discussion on Monday, so I don't want to go over old ground again in terms of everything else. But you look at a game like this and think, okay, do something, create something, score something. There were
Come
some
on.
moments I think where he looked
Oh.
okay, but in general, I most of the
one,
Arsenal
Roberti.
team, I suppose. He didn't really do anything that particularly eye-catching. I think Leno was by far and away our best player. There was nobody outfield who particularly stood out. I
what a
don't think
stroke.
we might come to Gabby on
He
that in a
just
second.
keeps
I
putting
thought
a
was
gap
good as
on the
well,
rest of the
but-
field. What
But
a
in
punt to
general,
hold.
nobody really stood out as an outfield player.
Yeah,
Let's
I
take a
thought
look at this shot
Pepe,
from just a
he's
moment ago.
dangerous in
Player
moments. I
currently
think
in
thus
second,
far he has
making a
been a
really
player
great shot.
kind of moments
I gotta
at
say,
Arsenal.
his
And I
short
think
game
we have
is
to
one
give
of the
him
best in
a
the
bit of a
game.
break because I don't think this is the
Well, that's
role
high
where he's
quality.
most
I'm sure they're aiming
comfortable,
for it,
but I
but
think
to
it
go
should be
in,
a role that's an
that's
option for him. And I think that the way Arsenal structured that left-sided attacker, you know, is the one
So,
that has
after that
more
hole,
freedom
this is what the
generally
leaderboard
and
looks like.
greater opportunity to get in
Our
behind.
current leader enjoys a
I mean, he was
5-shot
involved in our
advantage.
early chance, which I think we probably could have taken the lead from.
Yeah.
Getting
After
to
a
Eddie
birdie at the
Nketiah
last,
in the end. That was
take
actually a
care on the
pretty
hole.
decent move.
Yeah, it was a good move, good pass from Willock to Nketiah, and yeah, he didn't make the most of that. He should have hit that first time, I think.
He did really well, Joe Willock, actually, because it was kind of under his feet a bit and he was travelling at speed, and I thought that was a good piece of play to find him.
How terrible
like I
shot!
say,
Yeah, you just gotta
Anfield,
pray for
we
good
said this
luck.
before,
Oh
you
my
get
God.
few chances, you've got to do better with the chances that
Fuck's
you take.
sake.
But again, one of the things that struck me
Prince didn't
about
seem
the
to fit
way that
their
we
eye.
played, you know,
Lots of greens
we
and
have to
regulation today
acknowledge
for
that
this
Liverpool
player to
were on
look.
top.
This is a surprise missing this one.
For sure.
They were better than us.
Oh,
They
drop
had
shot.
more shots than
Drop
us,
shot
more
coming
chances
up.
than us. The fact that Leno was man of the match and he made all those saves tells you, the story. You know, you don't need to go into the nuts and
Oh,
bolts of that.
my God.
In the
We
bunker
did
with
see
their tee
an
shot, and
Arsenal
that's a
team that was
very
trying to
good
play
save.
in a specific
Now,
way.
5 shots
Even
up
under
after that
pressure.
hole.
There were moments, I've lost count of the amount of times we worked it out from the back
We've
and we did
arrived
that
at a
thing
par
where the
4.
ball came to Xhaka with his
On the tee now,
back
coming off the
to the
par.
midfield, and he
Just
just
hot
played
one
it
up
out
with
to the left-hand side, either to Saka or to Kolasinac.
Yeah.
You know, that is a very, very structured, deliberate pattern. He's not even looking. He doesn't need to look because he knows where his teammate is supposed to be. So that is an interesting aspect of the way that we
Fucking
play.
tree in the way.
It really cause Liverpool too
Oh,
many
fuck's
problems.
sake.
Yeah, I mean, we had the old kind of shots issue that we had, on Monday night as well. We were conceding a lot more attempts on goal than we
This looks to be a
made,
fairway
but
seeker to
I
be.
did think, and granted, this wasn't full strength Liverpool or anything like it, and it enabled us to have a bit more possession and a bigger foothold
Made
in the
this
game.
shot from
But I
about
agree with you
180
that
yards.
defensively, given that it was quite a heavily rotated team, we looked pretty solid, and I thought
Again.
Gabriel was a
that
really
one's looking
positive
good.
part of that.
Bunker again.
I agree. I
Jesus
thought,
Christ.
the minutes will have done him good.
Oh, my God.
He looks
It's never really a
a bit more
comfortable shot
comfortable, a
for
bit
them,
more
was it?
assured on the ball
Lots of
and
greens
within
and
the system
regulations today
that
for this
we're
player,
using.
but not so on this occasion.
He's
And
playing
here
with
we are with the
Kolasinac
third
outside
shot.
him, who had a couple of moments last night which were a bit iffy, it's fair to say. And again, I
Almost went
suppose
in.
helped a little bit by the fact that
Gary
he's got
Graham couldn't play
Ceballos and
bunker
Xhaka,
shots
two
any
players
better than
out
that.
who are willing to take
Blessed
the
with
ball. And you
physical
notice him
attributes
try
that
and
is the
play the
envy
long
of most
pass a
people,
few
I'm sure.
times as well.
This man is a
Right.
Oh,
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
hell. Hit the pin.
It was on because Liverpool defend increasingly
Also
high,
major
don't they?
check
So
Gary
there's often
Brooks.
space in behind.
He's the modern
It is
player.
interesting. I do think that central role in
I'll take
well,
that.
as you say, it was more the forward teams yesterday, but I basically feel that he
he's got
and
great
Louise
eye-hand
do seem to be
coordination
competing for the
playing
same
basketball
place
all
at the
those years.
moment. I mean,
In
Rob
fact,
Holding
with
plays
basketball
all the
in college,
games.
you focus on
He's
golf
played all 6 games
solely.
this season
And I
now.
have to
Quite
say
incredible for a
that
player
you can watch him hit golf
who
balls,
seems to be
you can
headed
watch
out
the
the door.
chipping, you can
Probably
watch
the
the
Williams
putting,
Saliba
and
situation
all
starts
that,
doing
and how
that, but I'm
great
sure
it
we'll get
is.
to that
But
in
you
question.
really don't
Yeah,
measure
we'll
the greatness
touch
of the man
on
until
some
you
of that
get a
in
chance
the
to say hi to
questions.
him.
And
He's
I
probably
mean, what
got
else
the
is there to
warmest
say
heart
about this game?
of any player out on
Just,
tour.
I mean, a succession of quite good Leno saves, really, isn't it? I mean, the
Nice
one
guy.
from Van Dijk I
Can't say
thought
that
was
of a lot of
particularly
folks.
good, that was very low
Definitely say
down.
that about Gary.
And then there was the
That's
one
the big
where,
basket, isn't
I'm
it?
forgetting about the attempt, I think it was
Sitting
Grujic,
at
the
9 under.
midfield with a header.
Currently in
Well,
top
Leno
spot.
almost seemed to dive early, and the ball almost looped over him, but he managed to get a hand
I've
up
done
to
it
the
again.
front, a pretty decent save. in the
Oh,
end.
my
Just
God.
needs a
Palmer
little
called
bit
it a
more of a
world
kick to
beat.
the right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a very good save, and he did make good saves throughout. And it has been a feature of his tenure
Right
that
part of the
Sticky.
we've been
Oh, it's a nightmare.
he's been a very busy goalkeeper, and I think he's at his
And this
best
punt
when
is for
he
birdie
is
3 on the
a busy
scorecard.
goalkeeper. So as long as we have these issues defensively and allowing as many shots as we do, he's gonna be important and also look good, hopefully, because he can make saves. So penalty shootout.
4 feet to the cup.
The old penalties are a lottery. It's a lottery. It's a lottery. You've got no control over penalties whatsoever. There's just no way that you can do anything about the result of a penalty
Leading by
shootout. You
5
can't
shots.
show
At the
your
lap of the gods.
yeah, you can't show your character or your technique or your nerve, hold your mettle,
Teeing off
and
here at
do
the
it under
15th
pressure.
hole.
I think what's quite interesting is penalty shootouts without fans
Yeah.
it must be a
More
factor.
goals are scored.
Is that true?
It feels like
It does,
I
doesn't
mean,
it?
didn't Milan have a penalty shootout last night that went to
Opting for the 6.
24 takers or something? Yeah, 20.
Really?
No, there were 20. Yeah,
Aw.
AC Milan drew after a remarkable 24
Banks, come on.
penalty shootout. And there was one recently where keepers took. I think
Left yourself
it
an
might have been this
opportunity.
competition.
Slim chance here
Caravan.
for birdie, but you
I
never
feel
know.
like, having watched, Arsenal in a few shootouts down the years, we're seeing penalties scored more. And it'd be interesting to look into, but it does feel that way, and it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? I mean, everybody knows
Come on.
that players
Oh,
practice
see, that line
penalties
was
are very
looking good,
technically
wasn't it?
capable of scoring them. It's
Line at 4
psychological
feet.
factors
Should make this one.
that impede upon.
Yeah.
And
We'll take
I
that.
think that we're seeing that all now, but very good penalties from Arsenal for the most part.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I'm just trying to go through the
And this effort
takers.
by
So
Justin
first up
Thomas.
it was Lacazette.
Good
I
penalty.
was nervous
you got a read
about
on
it,
this one?
based on it was that goal
got about
at the
20
other end, at the
seconds
same
here,
end that he
fellas.
missed the chance. But yeah, very good penalty.
Yeah.
Then Cedric Suarez.
Good penalty. Like
Good penalty.
keeper. I mean, I tell you what's a sign of good penalty for me is
Yeah,
if the
with that
keeper
hole
goes
behind
the
us,
right
let's have a
way,
look
he
at the
still has no
contenders
chance of getting
and the
near it.
pretenders.
Yeah.
I
Our
wasn't,
leader is out in front by a
I wouldn't
whopping
say I'm the
5
biggest Cedric
strokes.
fan in the world, but that was a really good
Arrived
penalty because
at
I
a
mean,
par
he went the
four.
right way
Get
at
up to the
full
tee
stretch,
line.
and he was
Standing
still
on this par
miles from the
4
ball.
and
So
leading.
that's that
What's his
tells you
strategy?
how
What's going
how
on through
well
their
he
mind?
placed that.
Attack it or lay
I
back?
thought he was, competent on the night, absolutely fine. El Neni, not a great penalty.
Fuck off.
No, one of those which is easy for the goalkeeper. Hit at the right height, nowhere near the corner or wherever. So yeah, poor
But
one.
then
Then
the great, the
Sure, this all
phenomenal
sounded short
Ainsley
grass.
Maitland-Niles.
I've been working on this.
Ah, fuck's sake!
This is my
Doesn't take a
impression
genius to know that this is not a good place to be.
of
Getting
Ainsley
it over here in the first
Maitland-Niles
place was just
taking
awful.
a penalty.
I would blame his
Ready?
caddy.
Choosing the 9-9 here.
Down!
So I might need to sit. Not a bad approach, that one. Quite inside the birdie range, but you never know. Oh, a long one. Still counts. Look at birdie here.
Scored.
That's exactly it. You've captured the tone of it perfectly.
Thank you. I'm very proud of that one.
Uh,
I mean, what a dude.
Incredible. He couldn't help but laugh, and neither could I on my sofa. I was laughing.
That was a gallant attempt. He's got
The
a
camera
hard
on
part
him
here. Let's
as
see
he
if he
was
gets
going,
back.
I would love to see like
Down it
one of
goes.
those where they do a documentary on someone like Zidane, and they have these like
Johnny Mac,
pitch
what's the
level
news?
cameras, and it's shot in grainy 35mm film, and you can see all the
Players
off the
sitting up,
ball
trying
work
to
that a
get up
player
and down
does,
from
or a
the
tackle
bunker.
flying in, or whatever it is, and it looks all
Nice little
grainy and
sand shot
realistic.
there.
I
Real
want to
close.
see that footage
Oh,
of
that was a
Ainsley
beauty.
Maitland-Niles
Our current
sauntering
leader enjoys a
to take the
5-shot
penalty,
advantage.
singing away to himself.
And after that
You know,
hole,
what line
this
of-
is how the leaderboard looks. Welcome
And
to
then
this hole.
just
It's a par 4.
the
This
run
hole
up, the
is so
execution,
important
it
at
looks
this
so
critical time.
casual,
Go for
but
it,
it's
lay
just
it back.
clinical
How much do
in the
you
end.
trust your
It's
swing?
unbelievably enjoyable to watch this guy take penalties. Particularly at a time when in football we are analysing the ever-loving shite out of every single thing.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent, to have this one thing that is just
Absolutely
like,
flat. Second
it's
shot
just
here.
amazing.
Over
Oh,
7
you
to
underhit
2.
that.
Texting me going,
What?
Jesus, that guy. He's got some skills.
Useless shot, that was.
Because he seems to have no pulse, basically. The guy is so ice cool. And, you know, I think it leads to his body language being
That's the
stuck
right
to
pace.
times. I think Arteta had his own.
Look at him
you know,
just
issues
surging
and
ahead
concerns
to the
about
top
it.
of the ball.
In a penalty shootout, that's exactly
Currently
what
at
you
10
want.
under
And
par
the quote
overall.
actually from Arteta was brilliant, where he was like, I nearly had a heart attack watching him go.
This
to
has to
take
be
it.
one of the more
But, you
difficult
know,
holes in
Well,
golf.
and then what did he
It's a
say? He
long
said,
par
Jesus
four.
Christ.
This player's got some lovely momentum coming off a birdie at the last.
But, you know, it's an immaculate penalty. I'd make him our penalty taker all the time. I just want to see that as many times as possible, to be honest.
Oh, me too. Me too. It is unbelievable. I love it. I love everything about it.
This one's looking good off the tee. That should find
Yeah,
the short
and then,
stuff.
of course, Leno saved a couple, didn't he? Saved from Divock Origi and Harry Wilson. And it put
Second shot,
and
yeah,
Joe
and the
Wick
18.
with, to be honest, another quite bizarre run-up, wouldn't you say?
I would, yeah. It was a bit strange. He sort of did like a
Popping to the
semicircle
100,
and
I think.
then. Yeah.
It looked like he was going
This
to
one
take it
should
left
find the
footed.
surface.
That's
Good shot,
right.
yes.
Yeah, I was going, come on, Joe, you're not Santi Cazorla, relax.
Or like a Rabona penalty or something.
Well played.
Yeah, I mean,
Made birdie
not-
on the
I
last.
think he rightfully
Looking
looked a
for
little
a
bit
second
embarrassed by
in
the
a
way
row
it went
here.
over the line. But listen, I like the confidence of Granit Xhaka, who seemed to be already celebrating
That was
when the ball went in.
that was funny, wasn't it? Because everyone else was just standing there, and Jack
Come on!
was his way.
Oh, brilliant shot!
And with that putt, concludes
And
this
he
player's
said,
round.
Gorgeous putt.
That's worth reviewing.
And then he took
Woohoo!
that penalty, and Adrian saved it. Wilson and Origi took bad penalties, poor penalties, and Leno saved it. Willock took a pretty poor penalty.
Oh, it's
but
an
Adrian
amazing
saved
shot.
it. So, you know, let's
Lovely.
give credit where it's due
Lovely.
to our goalkeeper. It's easy
So
to
there
say
you have
sometimes
it.
that
In the
penalties are
house,
missed
in
rather
top
than
spot
goalkeepers
after the
saved them,
opening
and I
round.
think
Everyone likes to
there
get
were
off
more
to a fast
misses
start. They
than
certainly have.
saves, all of
Oh,
them,
it's been
but you know,
sparkling,
we still have to
hasn't
get
it?
down there and we
Pleasure
still
to
have to
watch. It's
we
got to
still
be
have
a
to keep
little
the ball
strange
out of
they're
the
having
net.
such a
Adrian got
massive
touched,
lead
but not
because there's
enough.
only
So,
one way to go, and that's
tough
down.
titty.
Let's see how they handle the pressure on
I
the
mean,
final round.
they really enjoyed it as well, didn't they? They
Well, that just
really.
about concludes our
they
coverage
really
for this
love
one.
it, don't they? They love it.
I know, but
folks.
what did you make of
Studios.
what Mikel Arteta said afterwards? Something along the lines of, this is a big step forward, and we've a lot of things to learn from an exceptional team like Liverpool, but we're on the right path. I mean, as much as we say it's only Carabao Cup, we kind of got away with it. We're a little bit lucky. We had to rely on our goalkeeper. The players are just like, well, we've beaten Liverpool for the third time in the last 4 meetings.
Yeah.
You know, even if you can, as a player, acknowledge, and you probably have to, acknowledge the fact that there is a difference in quality.
This PGA Tour event
Just
brought
the
to you
simple
by
fact
2K
of winning the
Sports.
games
We're at
gives
the
you
Northwest Open.
confidence, right?
Today's coverage is
So
about
3 out
three.
of 4 against the
Please,
champions.
you can
isn't
join
bad.
us for this
Granted,
final round
a couple
action.
on penalties, but we're showing that we
I'm
can
Luke Elvey, here alongside
handle
Rich
them,
Man
you know,
Rich.
on
This next
a
golfer
relatively
starts
consistent
their
basis,
round.
which feels like
Having
we're,
about their chance.
especially
Never
you know,
easy
this game
going
was
to
at
bed with the
Anfield. I mean, I
lead.
went into this thinking this
They're out
would
here
be
today.
Yeah.
It's probably
Either
weighing on
direction.
them a little bit. I gotta
But,
say
you know,
though,
if
this
we
player
if we
has
had
been
beat
playing
3-0
well. That's
last
why
night,
they
I probably would have shot my shoulders
so
in
they
the
have to
mouth
be
to
excited.
Carabao,
They
but
have to
we
like
come
the
away with a
chances
really
of
positive
this
result, and
Let's get
it
down to
will
the action.
improve the confidence of the team, it improve their belief in the manager.
Yeah.
It's you know when you win these games, it's great, and I do think you know I always remember the first trophy that
Let's see what
Guardiola
kind of
won
tone
when
he
he came
sets for
into Man
himself
City
today.
was this competition, the League Cup, and I know Arteta's already got the FA Cup under his belt, but being in the quarterfinals, I think he'll have an eye on that final. I think he'll think, you know, what would it do for the
Second
resurgence
shot
of
here on
Arsenal
the
if I could add
first.
another piece of silverware in February? You know, I think that will be on the agenda.
Exactly. Get our Europa League place absolutely sorted out by February. Take the pressure off, and then it helps us, you know, get into the Champions League. Simple as that. That's how we do it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how we do it. Okay, well, look, we are going to take a little break here. We're going to come back with your questions and more in part 2. We've also got the winners of our competition from last week's
Interesting choice of the
Arscast
driver here.
t-shirt competition, so stay tuned for that. It's coming up right after this.
Ah, shit! Jesus!
Man on the ground, John McCarthy would have a better look at this.
Welcome
How's it
back
going?
to the Arscast Extra. This is part 2 of the show where I don't fuck up the intro, and in which we ask you to give us questions on Twitter at Gunnerblog and at Arsblog, on the Arsblog Facebook page, facebook.com/Arsblog, even though I forgot to do it again, sorry about that. And on the Arsblog Discord chat server, which you get access to if you are an Arsblog member on Patreon. Before we get into questions, on last week's Arscast, I asked you a question to win a t-shirt from 44t.com. An Arsenal t-shirt of your choice.
Get in!
Fucker. 29 years ago.
Close.
Makes this
The
save his
leading
part.
goal scorer. James, sure you got the answer.
29 years ago. I'm struggling actually doing that maths. 29. No, Ian Wright.
Yeah, there you go. Ian Wright. A surprising
Currently
number of
11 under
people
par for the
vote for
event.
Thierry Henry. So there you go. But unfortunately, you guys are all wrong.
Let's see what happens here
Ian Wright
on the second hole.
And the winners of the t-shirts are Declan Malone and Eugene Ridson. Well done to you guys. I'll be on to you to get your details. We'll get the prizes sent out to you. For the rest of you, if you want to buy the t-shirts, you can get a discount at 44t.com. 10% off by using the code ARSBLOG at checkout. That's 44t.com. T-E-E.
Yeah, that one will play.
T-shirt.
Looks like a
So
similar
there you go.
approach to yesterday.
44t.com.
They
Thank you
had
to
a
those
good
guys for
result
the
yesterday.
prizes.
Can't see
And
why they
we'll
wouldn't
have
have
more
a good one
competitions on the
today.
podcast soon. Right, time to get into the questions and a
Dang.
big
Looks
one,
like it'll
James.
safely make the green.
Dang, dang, dang.
William Saliba, it's a big talking point. Lewis Ambrose says Saliba could turn out to be a
Yep, that
top-class
shot's
centre
safely
half
on the
eventually,
green.
and we'll all be happy. But right now, given our financial situation and lack of other
See
deals,
if we can make
how do
this
you
big
feel
putt
about
for
the
birdie.
prospect that we spent £27 million on him only to not use him for at least 2 years? And this comes in the wake of stories that potentially we might be looking to loan him back to France.
Yes, I think it seems that Arsenal are open to that possibility, which is a
Good chance, this
surprise.
one.
You know, I
Right on
think
6
given
feet.
the manner in which he arrived and so
Hey,
the
that's a
hype about him.
chance.
And I have to say, I
Solid
watched Saliba
par putt,
play several times last season, once in person in the
Now
flesh, and
at
basically
11 under for the
watched
event.
him and only him for 90 minutes against Monaco. I thought he looked really, really good, and I thought he looked
It's
like a
time to
player
begin
who
this
could come
powerful
in
hole.
and certainly push for a first team place at Arsenal this season. So I don't have an anxiety of like, this guy's crap. Do you know what I mean? I don't feel like there's nothing there because I've seen it. What I do think is it's pretty clear that they feel he's not ready and that his development hasn't been what it might have been over the past 6 months or a year. And I think when you look at the situation and you look at the fact that he's had a couple of quite big injuries,
that'll work, that's
obviously
fine.
it's been the
Time for the
pandemic
second
and the
shot into the
cessation of the
third.
French league. Didn't get through a full season there for multiple reasons, and you know, as Arteta alluded to
Going with the
yesterday, there is
hybrid.
a personal element to this. You know, I think David Ornstein reported earlier this summer he'd suffered
Right, come on.
personal trauma, lost someone very close to him, and maybe all these things
Stop!
kind of combine just to
Fucking
create a
hell.
situation that maybe
Lovely effort, Dad.
they feel they don't want to rush
This
it.
putt
I
is
mean,
for 33 on the scorecard.
it's look, and it's a little bit frustrating given the amount of money that we've paid for him. But if he comes back in 12 months and you know eventually,
Oh my
we get the
god,
player
that
we
was
hope
a
he
terrible
is,
shot.
then all will be forgiven. You know.
Jesus.
Right on 10
Yeah,
feet. A good one to make.
Were you surprised that he wasn't involved last night?
I was surprised he wasn't involved in the 18th.
Nothing to sweat over that
I
one.
thought he would travel with the squad even for that experience. You know.
I can't say that I was
And this effort by
particularly
Gary
surprised. I
Woodley
think
was
if
just
you
a little
look
while
back
ago.
at what Mikel Arteta has said about William Saliba
Interested to take a look at
since
this
he was
approach shot.
first asked about him,
Yeah, it's been pretty consistent.
it's the message has basically been, calm your tits here, please, because this guy potentially is a very good player.
No way.
But we have to be cautious with him. We
Great
have to
shot.
make sure that he's in place properly. You know, he's
So after that hole,
basically done
this is the
everything he
current
can
standings on the
to
course.
play down the hype and the expectation that comes with a £28 million
We've
price tag, and
arrived
that's
at a
not something that
par 4 hole.
Saliba has any control over. But of course, it informs what people expect from him and what they think about him. But Arteta's message all the time was like, this is a guy for the future. He's a guy for the future. Let's not put too much on him now, etc., etc. So I think Arteta's been really consistent in what he's said about Saliba. So I wasn't that surprised when he wasn't involved. I think now we have to look at him for what he is and who he is, and not how much he costs.
Talk to us. What do you got for us?
Because
Over here on the left.
I think you're right. They must view him as not ready. If they thought he was ready for Carabao Cup, they would play him or they would include him in the squad. I think perhaps the fact that we've drawn Leicester and Liverpool in the Carabao Cup as opposed to a lower league team or somebody like that has had a little bit of an impact here as well.
A little punch shot
You
here.
might be worried about,
yes! What a result!
if a player is that good, if he does have that amount of potential, is Arsenal not the best place for him to realise it,
What a gorgeous looking shot that is, Rich.
You have a little bit of concern about
Oh!
it, I think.
What do you mean?
That's well played, and a
I
great
mean,
birdie opportunity coming up here at the fort.
You can justify a line
That's very
and say this is the right thing
That
for
is
him right
definitely
now,
a
his
confidence
development.
builder.
I've said this before,
Yeah,
he's
I
19
checked
years
in
of age
Oh.
as central defender.
Increase
There are very,
their
very few
lead.
19-year-old
This is
central
impressive, Luke,
defenders
but
playing at the
can
top
they
level in
hold
England.
up this play?
Almost none.
Lovely momentum for
Very
this
few of
player
them around
after
the
that
world
birdie at the last hole.
playing at
Keep
the
it
sort of
rolling.
level that Arsenal aspire to be anyway. So I think we have to be really realistic about that. But what I mean maybe is that, if he is the kind of superstar, potential superstar that he was touted to be when we paid a fucking load of money for him,
Yeah.
that his development can only come elsewhere is just a little bit of a nagging doubt in the back of my mind. I'm not saying he won't make it, and I'm not saying he can't be a
Second
good player
shot here
for
on
us
the
in the
fifth.
future, and I can see all the logic in giving him regular game time where he can play and he can develop and he can learn the game and he can grow and mature physically, because
Looks to be
even though
going
he's a
with the
big
five
guy,
iron.
Down.
team are still coming together, if you like. So I can see all that. It just is a
Too
little
hard.
bit in the back of my mind. I wonder as well, maybe, about the deal and whether the deal was
Getting
a
ready
good
to play
deal
there,
for
Phil.
Arsenal to do based on the financial situation at the club. What could you have done with 30 million quid in terms of midfield, or maybe even a defender who was potentially, Premier League ready?
Again!
So,
Oh,
I mean, the reason you spend 30 million quid on a player
Oh, man,
that
that's so
you're not gonna
unlucky.
get for a
Yeah.
year is because you think they're going to be worth
Well
more.
hold. Let's
Do you know
move
what I mean?
on.
Down the line. And if you were buying Saliba this summer, after the season he had at
No
Tottenham,
movements up or
I'm
down
not
on the
sure it
leaderboard
costs
for this
more.
player.
If he goes out on loan to Rennes or wherever else it is, he's surprised he comes back a £40 million player. So, it's a really long wait for that investment to come good.
yeah, exactly.
Looks to
And
be
I
going
would
with the hybrid
say,
here.
again, to make it very clear, I hope that he can become the player that we want him to be. If sending him on loan is how we get him to the level where we need him to be, I'm okay with that.
Time to
If
head
this
to
is,
the 11th
if
hole
this
now.
is managing
There's
his
highlights.
future
Let's
and
take a look at
managing
Gary
his present
Brooklyn from
correctly
earlier.
to get Arsenal a really good player, I'm absolutely okay with it. I think it could be the right thing for him, it could be the right thing for
What a
us.
shot.
I cannot help but have serious questions, though, about
Let's
the
get back to
deal,
it, shall we?
about the outlay
Well,
on
this will be
him
good for the momentum.
until
Let's
such
make this birdie
time
putt.
as we see him playing for us on a regular basis. I don't think that's unreasonable. Again, I'm not saying that it has anything to do with him. I'm questioning the people who made that deal over a
Get in
year,
on it.
Yes.
and a half ago now, where he barely played for Saint-Étienne, and we're paying £28 million for an 18-year-old. We get
So no
excited
change on
about
the
that
leaderboard
because
for this
very
player
often
after that
people
hole.
view
And I don't know if the
price
rest
tag
of
as
the field is up
commensurate
for
with
catching him
talent,
here today in this
or
final round of
players'
action.
readiness. That's clearly
Pretty
not
sure
the
this
case.
player will be buoyed by
If
that
down
birdie
the
back
line
at the
£28
last.
million
Let's see
looks
if
an
they can deliver
absolute
another
bargain
one.
for William Saliba, I'll take my hat off. I'll eat all the humble pie you want. For now, though, it's difficult to argue that it was a good deal.
Because we are a club who are operating under certain financial considerations, restrictions, and like you say, we could potentially have used that money on a player who would have improved the first team in the short term. So I completely agree with you on that front. I really am optimistic that Saliba will come good in time. But
fuck's
whether it's
sake!
soon enough to make that
Jesus.
sensible
Hanging on that
purchase.
one.
Yeah, that's
You didn't
exactly
get the
it.
best
That is exactly it.
Oh my
Sometimes
God.
you need to hack some shit out of this run.
Okay.
No,
so,
this is like
let's
hitting it
have
into a head of
another question.
cabbage. I mean, it literally is just
Oh, this
awful.
was an interesting one. Yes, Ollie Tucker said, if we are to assume or hope that Arsenal are being run smarter these days,
Yeah, not a
they'll
bad
surely
shot,
have
that one.
backup options
This one
to
for
our
back-to-back
party.
birdies.
But we've barely heard anything about other possible deals. Are you worried we haven't heard about potential alternative options?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. There was a good question on the Discord from Marty who said, are there any other midfielders in
It's
world
up,
football
it could be in.
other than Awa and Ponte?
Down it goes. So that's back-to-back
Is
birdies.
he in a...
2 in a row
Not
there,
according to my
Luke.
Twitter
Getting the
mentions,
groove
I
on.
don't think so.
I
Sitting
think
at
the only
minus
other
14
player that
now
we've
for the
heard
event.
about
And I don't
in
give the
terms
rest of the field
backup
much hope today.
is
Our
Jorginho.
leader is way out in front in this
Can I
final
say,
round.
that
Just a couple of plays here on the opening
like an
nine.
Arsenal
Here's the
signing.
tee shot.
I know, me too.
Do you know what I mean?
It's got a real whack of, oh God, I don't want this to happen, so it's going to happen.
I don't think he's a bad player.
I don't know, I don't either, but I mean, if you're looking for... What are you looking for?
He's not Thomas Partey,
And he's not...
and he's not. He's kind of, you know,
Oh, well played.
he does the Shaka Savage
They're
job,
playing from about
you know, of kind of
140
keeping it
yards
moving. And
Yeah, I mean, he is good. He's a good footballer. There's no question about that. And it's just... It would
he's
be
got a bit, yeah.
be
For the
underwhelming, wouldn't it?
9-9.
It would be a bit underwhelming. He's also
That's right,
28,
might need to
which
get
is, you
down
know,
a
an
little.
age where it's like, oh, we're not getting any return on that, probably.
We go again.
You know,
Quite
it
heavy
feels
line
a
stuff there.
bit David
Need
Luiz.
to take a little
I think
less
it's
club with that
basically the
approach.
reason that it feels not great as a prospect, and I think he is on the list. I think he is an option. Is that you know, it's a cast off, isn't it? It feels like a cast off.
Oh, yeah. Beauty.
Nasty lie out of the
But
rough. But
the only
look
thing I
at
would
this
offer
in the
mitigation, as you
hole.
know,
Can you
got some
believe
ties
it?
to Chelsea through my brother. He rates Jorginho very highly. I mean, there was a lot of crap last season about like he's made 1 million passes and made no assists. I don't know if you remember that. But that's not really his game. You know, he is someone who's a really good possession player and also someone who.
Let me recap
Guardiola
what
and Man
Patrick
City
Cantlay
really,
did just
really
moments
wanted,
ago.
and didn't get. So it wouldn't surprise me if Arteta was a bit of a fan.
This was his fourth shot.
Nevertheless, you know, if you offered me Thomas Partey, if you offered me some, you know, they are more exciting signings, certainly.
Yeah.
Incredible
I mean,
shot.
is he kind of like a polished Shaka in
And
a
after
way,
this
a bit
hole,
more mobile?
that's how it looks.
Yeah, they're probably less physical than Xhaka, but
Slash
more-
clumsy.
Yeah, but probably a
Always
broader
positive
range
coming
of
off a birdie.
passing,
Let's see what happens here.
an ability to move the ball at more speed, basically. You know, he's super technically gifted. Takes a lovely penalty as well. But not a
Optic
Oh
Five
my
ball.
God, that's gone way left.
not a player who will sort of do a different job, I think, to anyone that we've necessarily got.
Yeah.
He could be maybe an upgrade on what we've got. He's certainly a better player than Armenia in that position.
Nicely
But
done.
he's not the link between the
John,
midfield
how
and
is
the
this
attack,
putt?
you
Seems to be
know,
a
that
fair
we're
way.
looking for, and he's not
Guys,
someone
he's got
who
about 21
is
feet
going
to
to
go
beat
here.
people on the dribble.
Mm.
So maybe a bit more of the same if he arrives.
Yeah, so to sum it up, yes, I am a bit worried that we haven't heard. I
that's
heard more
punish.
about potential
Nothing worse than
midfield
putting it off
replacements
the
of the
green.
players that we want aren't
And
coming in,
here
and
we
of
are
course
with the
we
third
are
shot.
heading into the final days
Yeah.
of the transfer window. We've said this all along that it is going to go down to the wire with a lot of these deals.
Oh, never!
This next
Get
one.
the fuck out!
Awa and Partey, a
Oh,
little
that's a
bit, or
little
certainly
untimely.
Awa, who
Their first
Bastard!
goal.
it felt like
Fucking
it was
bogey.
really close this week, and I was
That's
told by
okay, but
somebody
you don't
very
want this
reliable
becoming
that
a habit.
it's kind of all but
Let's
done.
go to our man John on the
But of
ground.
course, until it
There's
goes
something
through, there are
brewing down there.
potential
Let's find out what it
snags and
is.
hitches and perhaps interest from other clubs. You know, it's always interesting when you're after a Leon player, and as it gets closer and closer, the entire world seems to want to make bids for this particular player. I don't know what that could be. But what's your thoughts on his potential arrival?
Well, that certainly
Didn't the
makes
guy
plenty of
Leon
money when you
say
can hit a
everything
shot
has
like
to be
that.
done by today
Let's
when
take a look at the
nobody's gone.
leaderboard as it stands.
Yeah, and shout out to.
Well, Rich, this is the pivotal final nine coming up, and the players perfectly positioned have given themselves a chance.
So
The
impressive
difficulty
all
with
week long.
this deal
I've got to
is that
say,
it's Leon
this
and
player
it's
is on
Olas.
top of the golfing world at the
And,
moment.
You know, Edu, Arteta, Hasfami, they do want this player, but they have never negotiated really, you know, particularly Edu with this guy before, and he is tricky and it is difficult, and you know the goalpost can move late in the day. I think
Second shot here on the
from what I
10th hole.
understand, Leon's need for cash has been slightly overplayed. Like they need it kind of by next summer, not
Opting for the
necessarily
far
by
right.
now.
Down.
So,
Pretty
it's
heavy
like-
shot.
Pay them then.
well, that's reportedly what PSG are offering to do. I don't know if you've seen those reports coming out of the
Yeah.
last
It's just
night.
inside the range.
The story is that
Be nice to see this one go
PSG
down.
would like
Let's see
to
if they
sign
make it.
Noir in a year's time, and basically pay for him then because it would help them get around FFP regulations.
Get excited.
Clearly,
This
this
could
guy
go
is
in.
now the #1 target, but we are really close now,
Well,
so
don't mind
it's just
this
very
part, bud.
difficult to say whether we'll get this over the
And
line.
well done.
I said on Monday, I think that I was really optimistic about it, and I do still
He's
have
currently
that
sitting
optimism
in
just because
first place.
when I hear
And I don't know if the
voice
rest of the
of
field
Leon,
is up for catching them here
it
today.
doesn't
There's
feel
final
an
round of action.
insurmountable gap. It
Teeing
feels
off
like
here
Arsenal
at
are sort of
11.
in the 40 million euro bracket, and Leon wants it to be in the 50 million euro bracket. And for all the financial problems that are besetting the club at the moment, 10 million euros, it feels like something we might be able to find.
It's still quite a lot of money, you know. We get this weird thing with
Looks like this one
transfers
heading
where
safely for the fairway.
enormous amounts of money are deemed sort of slightly insignificant.
No!
Well, it's exciting.
Fucking bounce! Jesus.
Like if you need the player, if
Let's
you want the
catch this
player,
action
push
from
the
just a
ball
moment.
out,
Oh my
get it in,
God.
get it
Scientist
done.
rises
I
the
know
shower
all
with a
that, but
fantastic shot.
we do have to remember that
This is
those
his
are
third.
fairly big chunks of money all the same. I remain
Nice putt to
confident
make that
about
one.
whether we do party as well. I don't know. I think it really depends on what else we do, and whether we can sell some players that we
And back
don't
to the
want
course with the
anymore.
live action.
But as we've said, it's
Setting up
proving
in
very
the first
difficult,
cut.
isn't it, to
It's going to be
to find
challenging
players.
to replicate.
Yeah, I mean,
the
what did
birdie
you
from
make of the
yesterday.
news? And a few people asked about this, you know, of Lucas Torreira seemingly joining Atletico on loan. Do you find that frustrating?
Yes.
The
Might be an
reality
ambitious
of the
play, but I
market,
like it.
unfortunately,
It's like
I
they're
just
going
think
for the
Get
goal.
up there!
hard, especially in Europe, to find people
Get up there!
30 million euros.
Well, I think that's the thing in Europe. Sheffield United are buying Ryan Brewster from Liverpool for a fee reportedly.
Well, that's a
20
tremendous shot
million.
and sets up a wonderful
What the
opportunity.
Like, how do
Using
Liverpool
the big
keep
boy
doing
muscles
this? What
to get it home and
fucking
do there.
magic
Oh, this is
do they
exciting. A putt
possess
for an
that
eagle.
they can
Head of
sell
sales.
these? They've got a head of sales.
We need to steal that head of sales.
Oh my God! Like I mean, they do it all the time. This is here. Look at this promising youngster. He has never played a game for us.
Get off!
He has never made
He
a
will score
mistake.
again if it's somebody to like it.
He has got one leg. He's blind in one eye, and he keeps falling over. Oh, how much? 40 million?
And maintaining
I
top
don't know
spot
how the fuck
on the
they do it.
leaderboard.
It's
After that,
incredible.
and I don't give the rest of the field much hope today.
That's the
Our
market.
leader is way out in front
That
in this
is the
final round.
market, you know. But
Coming
that's
off the
maybe a
birdie,
Premier League
they'll grab
market.
themselves a
I
chance to
think
keep it rolling.
So we should be trying to sell Torreira to like
Going with the far line
Burnley
here.
or something. Or
Exactly.
Oh, this
can,
one
can
right
we sell
down the pipe.
Guendouzi to Aston Villa for 40 million quid?
They just brought in Ross Barkley. I think that ship has sailed, unfortunately. But I mean, yeah, look, it is frustrating, isn't it, when some clubs
This
seem to
one
be
here,
able to,
this is for
to do
back-to-back
the kind of
birdies,
business that they
moving him in
do,
the
and
right
we
direction.
struggle, but
This putt is about
Torreira to
17 feet
Atletico on loan. Look, ideally you'd want to sell, but if there is no sale, and there's nobody willing to pay for him, even though there are some Italian clubs apparently willing to do that.
Oh, no way.
It depends on how much the loan fee
Pretty
is.
good chance here. This one's
Yeah.
the par.
And loan fees can
Yeah, well
be
hold. Let's move
not
on to the next.
insubstantial. I know that when we were looking for Perisic on loan for 6 months, there was talk of having to pay somewhere in the region of £5 to £6 million for that. So it's possible that you could still send someone on loan
Getting
and
ready to play
bring
their
in
third.
an okay amount of money or some money that will
Wow,
boost the
that almost was
coffers
in the hole.
that might help you get something done.
That's a wonderfully played chip shot
and
there.
maybe next year the market is in a
Dr.
better place.
Chipinski strikes
Great
again.
for Atletico and they really want
Let's
to
take
buy
a look at
him
the
or
leaderboard.
whatever it might be. So it's not ideal, but then I think most of the business that we're going to do between now
This
and
hole
Monday
here is a
night,
par 4.
I think it's going to be loans for the most part.
Yeah, and the other thing to say about loans, I mean, look, of course, I'd rather
Fuck
Arsenal get
off.
a big transfer fees for these players.
Fucking tree
But, you know,
right in the way.
Torreira's salary, what's that going to be per year? 3 or 4 million. It could, do you know what I mean? And that
Caught up
does
in a
go
few of
back
the
into the
branches.
pot potentially, and that makes a difference.
Fuck's sake!
I mean, what are your predictions? Who do you feel like we're going to shift a few out? It's been so difficult, and I think we maybe. Yeah, the Brewster thing, sure, but it does feel like the Premier
Hey,
League
here
is
we
kind
are
of
with the third
a
shot.
rule unto itself. A little
Oh
bit
my
financially.
God.
Yeah, it's so difficult to predict. I mean, you look at Kolasinac last night, put in the kind of performance that pretty much assured his Arsenal future.
I think genuinely, you know, from what I understand, finding someone who can cover his salary is really difficult.
Yeah. And he wants to stay.
Yeah, that's the right option. You should
So
never
he's
compare
happy
an
enough
error
to
with
stay.
another
I
one.
think you're going to look at
Playing
Torreira
their
going
fourth
for
shot.
sure. I think Guendouzi will
Nice
still
shot
go
there.
somewhere
That should find the
because
surface.
clearly that situation is not getting any better. If there was a chance of
That's right out of the copy box.
rehabilitation or a chance of
Exquisite.
repairing what's
opportunity here,
gone wrong,
just
he would
6
have been
feet to the
involved in a game like last night, even on the bench. You know, it
One started out on
suggests
a
we
good
want to
line.
move him on.
Do you think that
Good
will
putt. Well
change
done.
after the deadline? Do you think these players who've been
Drop,
friends
drop.
now
Managing to
after the
maintain
deadline
their
to sort of,
position on the
okay,
leaderboard.
yeah, till January.
And I don't know if the rest of the
What
field
do you
is up for
think
catching them
will
here
hold
today
them?
in this final round of
I
action.
don't know. I mean,
And now on the tee, coming off a bogey,
Might
trying
depend
to
how many
reclaim
who
some
he can get in,
momentum.
because he might end up needing people.
well, that is the thing. He might have to be pragmatic, or he might be forced into playing some players that he wouldn't want to play normally. But what's clear is he does not want to play Guendouzi. Doesn't want to give him any game time for whatever reason. So if he doesn't have to play him, I don't think he will. Which means you've got a player sitting around training, doing fuck all, which is not ideal, which is why I think he will go. We had a question here, let me see if I can find
Hear
it.
the excitement in
This
the
sort
air.
of
It's
ties in a
starting to
little bit
build.
to our transfer stuff.
And now we go to the 18th, and this happened just a moment ago.
It comes from...
Justin Thomas with an amazing shot.
Yes.
Third shot now.
Be Excited, who's at Iroyas AFC, who says, what did you make of
Unbelievable
Reece
shot.
Nelson? He says, but that's autocorrect. Damn you, autocorrect.
Okay,
Reece
let's
Nelson
get back to the
not
action.
getting minutes at all. Do you guys think he's off on a loan or a sale? Because surely he was a better option to play from the right than Joe Willock.
I think he's off on a loan. I do. I mean, we know he's available. It was strange that he didn't get any game time at all, I thought, a little bit. I mean, we went for more experienced players from the bench for the most part, but yeah, I think he's off on a loan. And when you actually look at the composition of our squad, I think that is, you know, a risk that we can afford to take. We have players for both legs.
Yeah, that
you
one's
know,
on the dance floor. You can
cover
chip
there.
up that for
And I
sure.
think it's what he needs.
Slim
Is that what
chance
you
here
think as
for
well?
birdie, but you never
It would
know.
be a rational explanation as to why he wasn't in the team ahead of Joe Willock, who isn't really a right-sided attacker. You know, he can play in those advanced roles, and he does like to get in the box, but it's usually from a more central position. So I do think that the fact that he wasn't involved is a way of,
Oh, what a shame. That
you
would have
know,
been a nice one to
ensuring
hold.
that you know, he doesn't pick up an injury or something like
Big
that.
feet to the cup.
But
Yeah,
then
and bear in mind, you know,
Kolasinac played, in fairness, and he's been linked away, so maybe that's a
goes for the
sign that
par.
he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, the other thing on Reece Nelson is,
Currently 14
you know,
under
there is
for the
also
event.
Wilson Rowe.
And I don't
to
give the rest of the
consider,
field much
who's
hope
back in full
today.
training
Our
now,
leader is way
and
out in front in this
will
final
either,
round.
I guess, you know, take up one of those
Let's see
couple
what
spots
happens
in the
here on the
squad,
15th.
or could be someone who gets loaned out themselves. So yeah, there's so much. I mean,
Looks to be
to
going with the
happen,
five.
and to be honest, when it gets
Fucking
to the
left
final
again.
round, it's just relatively.
What's the crap with that? Jesus.
quiet. It doesn't feel like there are 5 deals about to happen.
Yeah, nicely
You know what I
played.
mean? And then
Always like
it
these
would take a
opportunities,
pretty dramatic
especially when it's
final
for
few
Virgin.
days for Arsenal to do all the business they'd like to do.
Particularly when you consider that we're going from a Carabao Cup game on Thursday to a league game against Sheffield United on Sunday. You know, I know a lot of stuff can go on in the background. I know a lot of stuff can get done at the last minute, but it really does feel like this is going to be
See, that line
the
was
biggest
looking good,
last
wasn't it?
minute transfer window from Arsenal.
Starts about 4 feet from the hole.
Maybe since the one in which Arteta himself arrived.
Yeah, since 2011. It really
Ooh,
could.
nice
Different
line.
circumstances, obviously, but
Yeah, nice to make a big range.
I mean, it's been a
Nice
fascinating
feeling it must be to have that
There's a
sizable
social,
lead coming down the
particularly on
stretch.
social media, the reactions to the transfer.
This is quality play,
really
still on top
interesting. I
of
don't
the
know if you've
leaderboard.
noticed it, but it feels like the
3 holes remaining, Luke.
around
This
transfers
is
is
getting
greater than
awfully
ever, and so I'm expecting
Here we
Monday to
have
be
a short par 4.
pretty
Do you
crazy.
get after it?
yeah, we are
Or
going
find
to do,
another way
as
to
ever, our
navigate
transfer
the other
deadline day live
Do you
blog
attack
over
it
on our
and try
Sport
and
News.
increase your
So
lead,
we'll
or
be
do you
putting
lay
in
back
a
and play
hefty,
safe?
lengthy
I
shift
like to
because I think
attack it. What
it's a
do they
late
like
night
to do?
deadline, isn't it?
Oh, I actually don't know. Sorry about that. Transfer deadline. Let's have a look. October 5th.
Done it again.
Uh,
Fucking hell.
This one looks to be heading for the
Yes.
century of the fairway.
11 p.m.
Oh,
Wow.
for fuck's sake. Get Andrew on the phone.
Jesus.
Yeah, look,
Time for the second
it does
shot
feel like a
at
lot
the
could
16th.
happen on that day. And there are other potential loan moves as well. And I
Opting
wouldn't
for the hybrid, I think.
100%
Dang.
rule
Back
out,
there, horsey.
Way too hard again. Jesus Christ.
No.
you know, I think
That's not the outcome they were
we
after.
push the
Fair
boat
Bill
out
agree
and
with
get
that approach.
Alan, for example,
Getting ready to play
and we
there soon.
spend the money on him. I'm not sure there's much wiggle room to do anything else unless we get
Feet to the hole.
a massive bid for a player and we rake in
Don't
some
mind the look of
cash
this.
and we can sort of square it
And
off
down she
against
goes.
potential incoming deals. So,
Well, let's hope the
Currently
highs come
in
out.
first position.
2 holes to go, Luke.
Yeah,
Can
need
they
that to
hang
happen.
on?
Yeah, it could
This is a short
be
par 4,
interesting. And the other thing
always
to
a
say
fun
is
hole
that,
to
like,
play.
Standing
You
on this
know,
par 4
Arteta, I
and
think-
leading. What's the strategy? What's
Actually,
going on through their
I
mind?
don't know what I'm saying.
Attack it
Imagine
or
cut
lay
that
back?
bit.
no, I refuse to cut it. That's
Oh,
fine. No, it's absolutely fine. It's okay to lose your train of thought, James. People need to realise that we are just
Ah,
humans.
bunker, hello.
We are just two
Sometimes
guys.
You just don't know what
two-
you're saying.
Exactly. I think that
Time
could be
for the
part of
second
charm.
shot
I don't know,
at the
but let's
17th.
see. Have you got any left? Have you got one left, or?
How close was that to
yeah,
going in the
actually,
hole?
looking forward to
Great
the
shot.
weekend. Let's have a look at this. Mark Nellis
That's
on the
outstanding.
Discord
Another
says,
great
has
shot by
Gabriel
Elena.
done enough to be ahead of
Putting
Louise
for
for the
birdie.
Sheffield United match?
Yes.
His long passing seems to be just as effective. He's a bit quicker, so he can make up for holding sluggishness. He even
So
looks
it's
good
tracking.
playing with class.
And that putt will give them birdie
The
number 6
question,
on
I
the
don't
day.
know that his long passing is quite the same as David Luiz, who is really
And
good
still
at
in
that.
top spot.
That's
Compared
a
to
good
Fender,
spot in his
Keeps
game.
going.
Has he done enough?
What a lovely position to be in. Holding
I'm
the
ready
lead,
for the
playing
future.
the
I'm
last.
ready to
Good luck.
see a new, improved, youthful-looking Arsenal defence with Gabriel and Tierney. We did have a question as well from somebody who said, see, this is how well prepared we are. Gaz Edwards at GazEd87 said, heard you say Louise and Gabriel can't play in the same team. Wouldn't it be good to see Gabriel play left centre-back with Louise in the middle and Tierney at left wing-back? So, we have options.
It is an option, yeah. I think, it would be asking a lot of Gabriel to play
Around
like
170
Tierney.
yards
That's
here.
all I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be intriguing. I mean, if you're thinking
Looks
how
to
do I
be
get my
going with
best
the six
defenders on the pitch, that is a way. The
Come
other
on,
thing,
down.
the prospect is, I know Louis prefers the left side, but could you play Gabriel and Louise in something more like a forward? That's also a possibility.
What a shot
So,
from the lead.
we shall see. I think he is the future, so at some point in the
This is
course of the
always a good
season,
moment.
he
A
will
putt
be
to win
getting
the
the
tournament.
nod and the seniority.
Short game
because,
has been absolutely
the chances are that
fantastic
Louis
today.
won't be here in 12 months' time.
Very true. Andrew McClure on the Discord says, morning guys, what would your ideal Europa League group be? I don't even know who we can draw.
No.
It's taking...
My ideal is trips that aren't very far for the team's sake. So
It's been an impressive
just,
display today.
local.
This
Well,
is 66.
Belgium, Holland
Hold
and
it.
Scotland.
That's another victory. Hats off to them.
Yeah.
Backing
Isle
up the
of Wight.
British truck
13
once again
Europa
this
League
week.
Isle of Wight. Isle of
Filling
Man,
it up.
Isle of Man Rovers. You could play them.
I suppose I'm not bothered about, it is the Europa League group stage. There's going to be some crap teams in it. I'm not, looking for a glamour tie at this point in the competition. I want a teams where
Well,
we can
on
rotate.
behalf of myself, Luke
you know.
Elby,
Yeah.
and Rich B,
Yeah,
thanks
me
for
too.
tuning in.
Me too.
Catch you
I think
tomorrow.
that's an important part of keeping the squad happy and developing some of our young players. Right, we have to go. We have to go. There's a lot going on today. You've got to go. I've got to go. But I want to say thank you to everybody as always for listening. Thank you for being here. We will have an Arscast Extra on Monday, hopefully discussing our win over Sheffield United in the Premier League on Sunday. All change again, I guess, or a lot of change again in terms of the team there.
Yeah, I would think so. Plenty of changes. Maybe not in central midfield. I don't know. But I wonder if Shaq and Spice might play again.
You never know. Okay, we'll see what happens on Sunday. We'll be here on Monday, of course, and we're going to have something for Patreon members on Tuesday. A sort of discussion about the transfer window, what we've got, what we have, what we hold, the state of the squad. We'll do that on Tuesday for Patreon members as well. So until then, folks, have yourselves a great weekend. Until the next one.